I'm used to getting started a few minutes after the start time on this because it's with students. But now that we have a bunch of music teachers, you all are on time, and we might actually have to start on time. This will be weird. Yeah, feel free. If you're warming up, go ahead and unmute. Unmute your microphone to warm up. Yeah. Well, since it's 4 o'clock, let's go ahead and get started. Normally, when people are unmuting, that's the time that I would let people know that they're not set to music mode, and I might send you a private message if it doesn't sound like you're set to music mode. Go ahead and mute your microphones to start. And since I'm hosting, if somebody doesn't mute, I can go ahead and mute you if you're not muted. Great. All right, the first thing we're going to do is a tuning note. I'm going to run this like a rehearsal for you guys. So I'm going to switch back and forth between orchestra stuff, band stuff, and jazz stuff to give everybody a little bit of everything. So give me a thumbs up when you can see my computer screen. Can you see it? All right, here we go. Go ahead. This is a concert A tuning note. We'll do this a few times. Everybody in tune? Need it again? He's going just a hair sharp, but he did a great job, didn't he? That was good. All right. All right, we're going to move on. Please take out tuning by chords. And again, give me a thumbs up when you can see my screen. All right, and you've got your part there. All right, please play along. Every note that you have is a fermata, and each fermata we're going to hold for 4 beats, okay? You'll hear 4 clicks up front, and then you'll come in. Make sure you're still muted. Here we go. Instruments are up. Wonderful. Welcome everybody to this webinar. I am so excited to see so many people here. Thank you for your interest. I hope that what we do today is beneficial for you. I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Shawn Goodman. I am an assistant professor of music at Marian University in Indianapolis. I also am the director of the SYO Summer Music Programs, which is a nonprofit music program. We have youth orchestra, jazz ensemble, hand drums, adaptive percussion, and handbells that we do each summer with the students, usually in Indianapolis. This summer we decided to go online for good reason, and we were able to have students from all around the United States participate, so that was very exciting for us this year. I am also a Yamaha performing artist and a Van Doren artist clinician, and in my free time I direct a klezmer band of adults at the Indianapolis Hebrew congregation. So, let me go over a few procedural things for today. First, it helps my self-esteem if anytime I tell a joke you will just hit the unmute button and laugh at my joke for me. I need that to feel good about myself. That wasn't a joke yet. To feel good about myself, so there you go. See, I saw some laugh, but you gotta unmute when you're gonna laugh. I need to. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If you're anything like me, you're if the whole band director thing didn't work out for you, you'd go into stand-up comedy. So I need that to keep myself going sometimes. Thank you for laughing at my jokes. These rehearsals are not going to be what they are in person. They're not perfect. But the students I've talked to in my program said it beats e-learning any day. They get to see their friends, they still get to socialize, they get to make music together. They know that they're all making music at the same time, and they really feel like they're playing in an ensemble. So hopefully this will give you another trick in your tool bag of things that you can do with your students, okay? Great. So I'm going to run this rehearsal talking you through things as I go, and just kind of give you a sample of what I would do in a regular rehearsal. If you have any questions at any time, feel free to just unmute and ask the question, okay? Great. Let's get started. Another sampling of something that we might do in our group. I have my student leaders or maybe you have hired professionals that you'd like to continue to work with your ensembles, I'll have them put together different videos for the group that we'll share and play along with. So this is one of my students doing a video here, and give me a thumbs up when you can see my screen. Excellent. All right, she's going to take you through the B major scale today, not B flat, B. Here we go, and play along with her when she asks you to, please.
Hi everybody, I'm Adia and this is an instructional video. Today we're going to be playing the scales B major and G sharp minor. The only difference between the normal G sharp minor scale and this G sharp minor scale is that this one is a harmonic scale. So we're going to be raising the 7th note in each octave. And my lower instruments, when we reach the 2nd octave, I want you guys to go back down and the rest of us will go back up.
So this is the point when I would probably stop the video and ask each instrument group what their starting note would be if we're starting on a concert B, but you all are music teachers, I don't need to do that. Here we go.
For my violins, I want you guys to start the B major scale in 2nd position. So put your finger on B on the G string and then put your first finger where your B would normally be. Right there. Okay? This metronome is going to be at 76 beats per minute, if any of you wanted to know. Alright, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And for our G sharp,
that's all we'll go through on that one there. Now here's another activity I might do with my students. I think you'll enjoy this one a lot. Give me a thumbs up if you can see me on your screen. Okay, here we go.
Alright, this is concert B flat, strings that's low 1 on your A string. Everybody play it with me. Alright, here we go. Repeat after me. Use your ear. 1, 2, 3. Match my articulations.
So you get the idea with that. I hope this is fun for you. All right, so just to let you know kind of how I'm doing some of this, I've pre-recorded some of these videos, previously had some of my students record some of them, and they can either upload them to YouTube as public or unlisted and share the link with me, or they can send me the video directly and I can upload it to YouTube. It's easier if they upload it because it takes time to download all those videos.
Hey Shawn, when you're doing these, are you doing all of those live, or do you use any pre-recorded things like you're doing now?
So I do a little mix of both. I find that if you just do one or the other, people lose attention. So I like to mix it up a little bit. So that's some of that. And if I'm sharing those videos, if you're on Zoom and want to share, it's really easy. You click the screen share button at the bottom. It should say share screen. Everybody should have the option right now to do that. But if you click the share screen button, and everybody can click it right now just to see what I'm talking about, it'll bring up a window that has a few different screens on it. It should show you pictures of things you have open on your desktop or that you have open in your browser. And you'll click on whatever you want to screen share, but it's really important that there's two little tiny boxes at the bottom of this window. One says share computer sound, the other one says optimize screen sharing for video clip. If you're showing videos, you want to click both of those little boxes. If you find that you're sharing your videos and your students say they can't hear anything, it's because you forgot to click one of those boxes. And then you just click stop share whenever you're done sharing the video, okay? Great, and I've got these instructions are all typed out on my website if you forget, and I'll put this recorded video online as well if you need to watch it again, okay? Great, let's go on to rehearsing some music. Please take out Big Dipper. We're going to start by listening to the recording of the Thad Jones Mel Lewis Big Band playing this, and there is no other, there's no better big band on the planet, so this is a good way to start. All right, give me just a second to pull this up here. All right, give me a thumbs up if you can see the album cover. All right, here we go. Just follow along in your music. Just watch and listen this first time through. And we're actually going to start in between A and B. So today we're going to work on the section from 4 before B to letter C. All right, so I'll tell you when we're coming up on 4 before. Here we go. 1, 2, 4 before. Brass. And that was letter C. Everybody follow along okay? Any issues? Okay, great. We are first going to learn how to play that, and then we're going to play it. So, here we go. Just do whatever I ask you to do in the video.
Hey everybody, we're going to go over Big Dipper today, and the first thing we're going to start with is the measure before B in the trumpet and trombone parts. So I'd like to play along with the recording for this. I want you to listen to me play it first, and then we'll do it again with you playing as well. Here it comes. 1, 2, 3, and play. Stop right there. All right, I want you to notice this is measure after B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In that measure, you have some wah-wah indications on those notes, but if you listen to the recording, they really don't do much wah-wah. Listen to that. Here it is. So it's not very exaggerated. It's just da-da-da-dee-da-da, very minimal. So, and notice all of those syncopated notes are very separated. Try that with me. 1, 2. Again, 2. All right. Let's go and put that together back right before B, playing with me this time. Here we go.
Trombones and trumpets.
1, 2, 3, and. Keep going. There we go. All right, nice job, nice job. Let's try that one more time, and I want you to take a look at before C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This rhythm is not eighth notes. This is a little bit different. This is actually pickups into 6 before C. Okay? There you go. Let's try it a little slower with me. 1, 2. Again, 2. Notice the long and short notes that I'm playing. Da 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 dee da 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 da. Do it with me. 1, 2. Again, 2. Sing it. 2. Boo da boo da boo da doo da doo da. Again, 2. Boo da boo da boo da boo da boo da. Play it. 2. Let's play it at tempo. 1, 2. Again, 2. Everything else is very long and connected, but those first couple of notes, do-da, do-da, kind of ricky-ticky there, okay? And notice the doo-doo. We're going to just go. So you kind of go up a scale and decrescendo. Kind of like we do a fall, where we go down a scale and decrescendo, but this time we're going up. Okay, I go up 1 octave. It sounds appropriate to me. All right, let's do that one more time, and then we're going to go to the saxophones. This is back a measure before B, all the way back there. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and nice job, brass. Let's go on to the saxophones. So brass, you can go ahead and play along with us, but I am going to work with the saxophones. Saxophones, this is starting, we're going to just start in the same spot. So I want you to notice 2 before B. It's not written in your part, but they do it a little bend up to the note there. You may have a little slight indication, maybe a little mark that somebody marked in there, and that's what that means. So we're going to start 4 before B in our part. And we're going to do this with the rhythm section track. All right. rhythm section track that Chris Parker helped us put together is just a little bit slower than that recording. So that makes this really helpful to use this track for this particular video that we're doing right now. So I want you to notice that, count with me before C, 1, 2, 3 measures. Those first two notes, they're just written as two normal eighth notes, but they go da wah, and we can listen to the recording again to hear that, but they go. They don't go. They don't even articulate the second note. They just do jaw in and out. Jaw starts in and comes out. Make sense? Try the first, this is before C, 1, 2, 3 bars. Try that phrase with me. A little slower. 1, 2, 3, and. And no particular scale, just fingers down one at a time. With me again. 1, 2, 3, and. And. Notice I tongue that note. And that last note's under the marcato. It's the last note of a slur. We always want to tongue that note, especially when it's followed by a rest. Try that with me, saxophones. This is pickups into the bar before C. 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. A little faster. 1, 2, 3. All right. This is 3 before C, all saxophones. 1, 2, 3, and. All right, let's put it together going 4 before B, all the way to C, saxophones. With me. Here we go. 1, 2, here we go. 2, 3, There we go. All right. Let's put that together with everybody. This is everybody's in. And we're going to start 4 before B. Count your parts. 4 before B. Here it comes. 1, 2, 3, Nice job, everybody.
All right, so you see how that can work. You have to pick a piece to play with your group that you can find a recording that's in the same key and is the same arrangement.
Hey, Shawn, are you always listening to your students when they're playing back, or do you have the kids mute, or is it like a combination of the both?
So right now in the full group, it's always if they're playing together, they're muted. Okay?
Okay.
So what we're about to do with Snitching in the Kitchen, I'm going to do as live rehearsal without the video. So you'll get to see kind of how both of those work, okay? So you have to pick a piece where you have the recording in the same key. We also put together play-along tracks to go with these. So if anyone's familiar with, like, you know how Jay Mabersold makes play-alongs to go with, like, combo charts, we put together play-alongs to go with big band charts and to go with orchestra charts. So basically it's just your rhythm section, and then we have rhythm section with just the lead parts for people to listen for tuning and that kind of thing. So you can use those to make instructional videos or to rehearse with, and we definitely had to use those to record our ensemble with to put together the finale concert.
Shawn, do the students make those videos, or do you make those videos?
We actually make those. So, like, I have a tech team, and they have, like, their own AV.
I'm sorry. What I meant was, are the students playing on the rhythm section videos, or are teachers playing on the rhythm section videos?
So what we did was we hired professionals to play on those.
Great.
Yeah, so they've got, like I said, our tech team, like, they had each of the rhythm section players record their parts, and then we put together the play-along track for them that way. Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are all those rehearsal videos, are they like private videos on YouTube, or are they public? Because I was just wondering how you handle all that with the copyright and everything.
Yeah, so the ones that I've made are, right now, they are online. Somebody's unmuted, and I'm getting a lot of wind sound. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, the ones that I made are public. So a couple of the pieces that we picked are public domain, so there was no issue with those. We chose recordings that were already online for a lot of our things, and some of them, they, got the copyright claim, but there's no, like, they just say if you monetize your video, then they, get the money or whatever. So obviously we're not monetizing any videos. You can make your videos unlisted for your students if you want to. But yeah, I haven't had any issues with anybody, because I'm not putting anybody else's music up and saying that it's mine or anything. I'm just adding their stuff to my playlist, and then us putting together our own rhythm section play-along tracks for some of these so that we're not using other people's as well. Yeah, Chris.
One thing I wanted to add about the rhythm section tracks that I feel like really helps with the students when they're practice time and also when they're recording is to have, they have the lead part to listen to, so they can hear their part in the lead player playing it, and they can listen to that. But we also I recorded a voiceover track with the play along, and so I would say, A on letter A, or coda 2, 3, 4. Counting in the coda or whatever. And I feel like a lot of students they'll hear this play-along track and they'll try to scrub around. And one of the things that we could have done even more to evolve that is have in the track, like at 4 minutes and 32 seconds, that's letter D, and that takes no time at all if you already have that play-along put together with maybe your rhythm section players, or you hire somebody else to do it. Have them do a vocal guide track so that the students don't get discouraged. They can't find the spot that they're working on. They're practicing the wrong section and the wrong part. You get the idea.
Yeah, Chris Parker is, he headed up the AV team that put our stuff together. So if you need help with that kind of thing, they actually do that. Like, that's one of the things that they do. So his information is also on my website if you want to contact him for that. Or you can just send him a chat right now. I'm sure he'll respond back to you. So, yeah, we had to put together the rhythm section tracks, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later, and about how we dealt with all of that. But let's move on to snitching, and then I'll come back to some of these other things. Good questions. Thank you for asking. So, Snitching in the Kitchen is a piece that we actually commissioned this year. We didn't realize kind of what this summer was going to look like, obviously, when we first commissioned the piece. But it ended up it was a really good thing that we commissioned a piece when we did. So he was working on it in the spring, and then we found out, of course, that everything was closing down, and we decided to go online for the summer. And he said, you know what, I said, why don't we embrace this instead of fighting it? And that's kind of what this whole approach has been for me, is trying to embrace this new, I hate when people say new normal, but this reality that we're all faced with right now, okay? Let's not fight it. Let's figure out how to work within it, okay? So I said, why don't we write a piece actually for online virtual ensemble? And so we brainstormed what that might look like, and we decided it would have choreography in it. It would, involve, I mean, we don't have timpani, we don't have a big giant bass drum. Who has a full-size marimba? Well, we actually had 2 people with a full-size marimba at home this summer. I don't know how, but anyway, so we decided it would have like found percussion, things you make at your house, and we decided it should be set in the kitchen. Everybody had some sort of kitchen, and so people created instruments out of things they found in their kitchen for part of it. Yeah, Jason, you have a question?
Yeah, just real quick, because you were sort of talking around it here. I feel like the snitching in the kitchen is pretty self-explanatory as far as what the goal is. But with a tune like Big Dipper,
yeah,
as you're rehearsing them, what's the end goal? Are you making a video of that, or what's the thought?
You know, that's okay. You know, that's so philosophical. I'm glad that you asked that, Jason. Honestly, I feel like our goals have to evolve just a little bit, okay? Our goal right now is not a competition, right? It's not even an in-person performance. What we're trying to do right now, well, number one goal, we're all trying to stay alive, right? We're trying to create a sense of normalcy for our students. We're trying to keep them playing their instruments. We're trying to keep rehearsing our ensembles and keep making music. Will we put a video together to do a virtual concert at the end? Yeah, you can. And we did, and I'll show you that at the end here. But the goal is not to have a perfect performance with every detail perfect and you're going to be the best band director in your state, right? Our goals are a little bit different this year. We want to maintain music education at our schools. We would really like to maintain our ensembles. And let's all face it, nobody enjoyed e-learning in the spring, right? I mean, really, the kids didn't like it, and I know you didn't like it. Boo. But what do we like to do, and what do our students like to do? They like to play their instruments, and they like to play in an ensemble, and they like to see their friends every day when they come to band. So anything we can do to try to maintain that is my goal. So when I set out to figure out how to make this work, I realized that we all can't play together at the same time. But that being said, remind me to tell you at the end about another piece that Ben just wrote for that particular thing. Okay? It's kind of crazy, but it works. But the point is that we're all playing together. We get to see each other. And then in a minute, when I break you onto sectionals, you'll get to see what it looks like when we break into sectionals and you actually get to play for each other in the small group, and your teacher gets to give you feedback, and the band director gets to rotate around from room to room. It's super cool. Okay? Does that help a little bit, Jason?
I think it does for me. I'm wondering how I frame that for a 13-year-old, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, I can tell, I mean, Chris was there, so Chris, you can certainly speak to this, and also Mackenzie, I know you're here, and I think Elise is here. So Mackenzie and Elise were some of my interns this summer, and Chris, of course, is our artistic director and AV staff. So they can tell you kind of what the students thought about it, but what I've seen is students dropping from their school programs because they don't want to do e-learning again.
Right.
They don't want to read an article or, you know, write a concert report from a YouTube video or whatever. They just want to play their instruments and see their friends. Most of them aren't even in band because they like to play their instruments. They're in it because they want to see their friends. You know what I mean? So the thing is, they get to see their friends. When they break into sectionals, they still get to have some of the socialization time. So, I mean, everybody that I've talked to, is this as good as us being together in a room and sharing aerosols? No, it's not as good. That was a joke. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to laugh. Thank you. Thanks. It's not as good as being together and rehearsing as an ensemble, and we're not going to sound as perfect as we would. But this maintains the goal of keeping us playing together, seeing each other, and trying to create some sense of normalcy for the students who are stuck at home and nothing's normal this year.
Right.
So.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, keep asking questions if you have questions. You guys are wonderful. I love these questions. Let's go on to snitching in the kitchen. We're going to look at the second bar of A to start out with. And we'll come back to the beginning. The beginning's super cool, and I promise we'll come back to it. The second bar of A, we've got tubas and basses that have a really cool little line here, and it's passed around throughout the ensemble here at the beginning. And that is this rhythm that goes da 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 ba da 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 da. Who plays tuba or bass? Raise your hand. Anybody? All right. We got Andrew. All right, Miss Arnie. Army? Okay, sorry. Yep, eyes are getting bad. Okay, so Miss Army, would you like to play? Would you like to demonstrate this for us? These two measures here that you have right after.
Sure try.
Okay, cool. Let's hear it.
I'm a violist. Be kind. Or speak slowly, or whatever the joke is.
Yeah, there you go. Very nice. Good. Now, this time when you do it, I want you to be really, really mindful of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, do, 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 do. Okay? So let's try that. Yeah, there you go. Very nice. Good. Who else has that part? Don't unmute. I'm not done with you yet. Who else has that part? Anybody else has that part? Andrew's got that? So Andrew, I want you stay muted, and I want you to play that along with Miss Army, okay? And just try to match exactly her articulations. Here we go. Go ahead, and if you could count us off, Mrs. Army, go ahead and count us off.
And my name's Julie. You can
All right.
call me Julie. I just put that there because I didn't want to forget when we start this week.
Perfect.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, very nice. Good job. And we would all clap for you because we support our peers. Yeah. Julie, thank you for doing that. Thank you. Good. All right, let's go on then. Obviously, I could do this whole section from A to B and have different volunteers play for us, and we will, but let's all look right now. Before letter B, count with me, everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 before B. This song is so funky. This is the coolest part. So what we've got here, I'll find my little toothbrush in here. So. All right, everybody mute yourselves and play that along with me. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Who wants to play it for us? Who wants
sounded
to?
like you were going a lot faster than the count-off.
Yeah, so this is in cut time. Sorry about that.
Oh,
it starts in
sorry.
4/4 at the beginning, and then it goes to cut. I should have said that, and that is totally my bad. I'm sorry about that. We go to cut time at letter A. Yep, so if we're going 1, 2, 1, 2, ba, 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 ba. Yep. Thank you for that question. Star, since you asked that question, do you want to volunteer to play that for us? All right, go ahead and unmute then, and we'll hear you play it 7 before B.
I was saying I'll give it a try, but my rhythm is terrible. But here we go.
No worries. There we go. All right, Nice job. There we go. Good, good. Who else would like to play that for us?
I'll go, yes.
Okay, who is that just said they would go?
That's Michael.
Michael. All right, Michael. Let's hear it.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Yeah, very nice, Michael. Very good, very good. Good, good, good. All right, Michael, you want to do that one more time, and we're all going to play it along with you, and we'll all be muted, but Michael be unmuted so we can match your articulations. They're very nice articulations. Go ahead and count us off this time, Michael.
1, 2, ready, and.
Yeah, very nice job. Very nice. Good, good, good. Awesome. Okay, cool. Now, for fun, we're going to play through, we're going to pretend like I just taught you the whole section. And we're going to play through this, okay, so that we have time to still do some sectionals and that kind of thing. So, give me a thumbs up when you can see my screen. You see it? All right, cool. All right, here we go. This is, we have two different versions of the tracks. We have one that's just the music and it's got some of the horn parts kind of filled in electronically. And then we have another version that's for recording and it's got some additional instructions on it. This is the music version. So it should start, it basically starts like 4 before A. Okay? So I'll tell you when you come in. Here we go. Let's play along with this. Make sure you're muted. 3, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, here's A. How'd that go? Basically, we went a little bit into B that time. Were you following along okay? Now, one thing I found that I can even do that works pretty well, if your internet connection is bad, this may not work, it may not sound right to you. I've had that happen with some students. But I can play my part and along with this recording while I'm screen sharing, and it sounds at the same time for you. So... Could you hear me playing? Yeah, I was playing some low notes, so it may not have come through very well, but yeah, so that works. That works. Let's go from letter B to C. All right. Here we go. Play along. Coming up here. Sorry, I was too far ahead. That was totally my fault. Actually, let's take it back all the way, more for me. We're going to start at the beginning, and we're going to go all the way to letter C. Letter C. We'll stop right at letter C. Here we go. 4 before A. A2, ready, A. Everybody following okay? Alright, let's go C to D. C to D. Same thing, but we add in a little counter melody here. Here it is. 1, 2, ready, C. Alright, and this is the part of the song that he wrote in a little improvisation for each instrument. They can play what's written or improvise. That's a pretty cool tune, isn't it? Yeah, our students really enjoyed doing this. So now at the beginning, we've got some really cool stuff going on, and let me kind of show you what we do at the beginning. First off, we start by him telling everybody to turn their cameras on and this kind of thing, and then they all have to clap to line everything up. And then they all are walking down a dark hallway into their kitchen. The lights are off. They all flick the lights on at the same time, and then they begin looking around their kitchen for their instruments. Some of them have hid their instruments in different, like, in their dishwasher or their cupboards or something, and I'll show you a sample video that one of my students did. I just thought his was adorable. And don't worry, I've got permission from the students' parents to show you these videos, so. Alright, here's his video. This is one of our rehearsal videos here. I just love that he stocked his whole kitchen with music gear.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
So, two things. Do you keep your sound settings the way you asked us to put them at the beginning of class for the entire class, regardless of whether you're talking or playing or sharing? You don't have to toggle back and forth?
You don't have to toggle at all.
Okay, all right. For now, that's all, because I forgot my other question.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and if you set it once on your computer, it will stay that way on that device.
Oh, okay, I do remember my other question.
Yeah.
Do you require your kids to keep their video on for the entire class?
So I try to be flexible, but I try to encourage them to turn it on. So kind of like I gave you a friendly encouragement in the email, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, Michael and Pamela, turn your cameras on. You know, there's reasons people need to turn their cameras off, right? So
do you just like assume that they're there, like they're good kids, and they're not going to be like off playing video games when they're
Yeah, but sometimes I'll call on them to be the one that models for everybody or something, just to kind of check in and see if they're really there.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, with my students, you know, I'm like, oh, okay, well, they must be in the restroom, you know, make a note. If it happens a couple times, then, you know, it's time to have a private conversation with somebody, but, yep. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And, yeah, I think I would prefer they all have them on all the time, right, but I try to be a little flexible. Okay, good. So for this beginning, then, everybody has to have two devices. They have their cell phone. Usually they borrow a parent's phone or something, because you have to record with one and you have to listen to the track with the other one. So usually they put earbuds or AirPods in and then have that device in their pocket that they're listening to so that they can actually hold the other one to record. Okay. Let me show you what the beginning of this looks like. We just did our live premiere of this piece yesterday, so I've only seen it now a couple times. Sorry about that. can see kind of what that looks like. The kids enjoyed having like choreography and the visual aspect. What we're doing online, it's more than just sitting in an arc and, you know, playing concert band music. So again, trying to embrace the new reality of where we're at. They're all at home, so they're trying to do something cool and fun, and they know that other people are going to be looking at these videos and watching them. So some of them were wearing like aprons and chef hats and just doing it all up. So anyway, trying to embrace what the reality is. Let's go ahead and break for some quick sectionals. We'll take about 10 minutes in sectionals, okay? And I actually have the ability of assigning every person to based on their instrument if I want to. The other thing I can do is I can still hire local professionals who right now are probably out of work, right? They've lost their gigs and stuff. So I can still hire those local teachers to come in and work with my students on Zoom and break them into sectionals, and they can teach a sectional this way, okay? Right now, I'm going to assign you randomly, and I'm going to move so that you have one of my interns or staff in each of those rooms, and they're going to take you through the process that they would go through for teaching sectionals, okay? All right, here we go. All right, and I'll stop by your room. Have fun. Oh. All right, if you get an invitation, go ahead and accept your invitation so you can go to your sectional room. All right, and Mike, did you get an invitation to go to a sectional room? And Andy, did you get an invitation?
For example, when it came to the rhythm section, 5 before Snitching in the Kitchen, I had a metronome going, and I kind of played along with the soundtrack so that they could really listen to it, and I had them just play along with it once staying muted so they can listen to it and just play along with me. And then it's always good to like ask them to like play it for you themselves, just one at a time. If you want to just check on their progress, and then of course give them tips and do some demonstrations over video.
Really help them out just because they can hear exactly what their part is. So a lot of the times we have all these instructional videos that we did. Same with going based off of the ones that Shawn usually did because they were already uploaded onto YouTube. So I remember there's one part in one of the jazz pieces that her and I weren't actually getting together. So we went back to the instructional video, listened to it, we broke it down together, and we did that. And if, you know, you don't have time for sectionals and you're just doing a band setting, pre-recording, like, you know, what you want to work on and then just showing it up to that, like up on your screen, it works great too. And then the last thing I also want to talk about is all the backing tracks that she was talking about. It really helped because that's what we would record with, was just like an actual backing track. So we would practice along with that. And most of the times I would be the one playing over it. So she would hear my part with the backing track and then vice versa.
She was sharing that audio track and then she was playing along to it. To me, sounded like her playing was a little bit ahead of the audio track. And it's such a variable thing. I haven't really found a lot on resources about that on Zoom. but it's not always going to be in sync. But understanding that they mute their microphone and they need to have the guide track pulled up in a separate browser window or a metronome or something like that, because they don't have the auditory cue of listening to the person next to them to part. They don't have if it's someone who's maybe not one of the best players in your ensemble, they don't have that first chair Division I soloist to listen to hear their part. So they need to be always referencing a recording of the piece, preferably a guide track. And one of the other things that I like to do in the sectionals is use as an opportunity to, now that we're all on Zoom, we need to embrace this, the online aspect of it. So I'll be going to YouTube. Hopefully I don't get too many ads that have inappropriate subject matter, but I'll go to YouTube and I'll play a clip of, if I'm working with the trombones, I'll play a clip of Joseph Alessi from New York Philharmonic.
How have you guys handled instrument accessibility? That's one of the big things that my district is trying to figure out right now is what do we do for our percussionists, bari sax players, tuba players, that maybe we don't have a lot of this to go around. How have you guys been handling that? I see some of this is with the found percussion, but that's only going to get some of these kids so far. And if we're going 18 weeks into this, how do we keep them engaged? As a percussionist, I know that we tend to get in trouble at the back of the room. But when the back of the room is in your own house, the opportunity for trouble runs wild.
That is a great question for Shawn, because I'm not sure how we handles that either.
So we actually let some students borrow instruments from us. So we had a day that they came to the school. Hi, Chase. Chase is borrowing one of our instruments right now.
Yeah, this 4/3 octave marimba, I do not own this. This is Marian University's marimba. I need to give it back before school starts. I'm so sorry.
I was a little jealous watching earlier. I was like, he's got a big old marimba in his room.
So, obviously we didn't send anybody home with timpani or, a bass drum. So we had to make some, so there's a timpani roll there. Can we do that on floor toms of a drum set? Yeah, we can do that for now. We're not going to contest, you know what I mean? So we made accommodations with what we had. Yeah, the found percussion was helpful, and we were able to, one kid had an electronic drum set that had a timpani sound on it and some other things, so we made do with what we had. I think that's the best we can do. But we let some people borrow some string instruments and some tubas and stuff like that they needed.
And if I can follow up on that, how during the tuning and whatnot exercises, what do you do for those kids? What would you recommend? Because normally, if it was a normal rehearsal, you have the kids on a keyboard instrument or they're setting up whatever they need for the rest of rehearsal. But I mean, that won't be so much of a time. Do you have the percussionists join later, or do you have an alternative, like rhythmic-based assignment for them to do that they do independently?
I have them join with us. I mean, theoretically, everybody joins, right at the beginning with us. So for the tuning stuff, some of them played on piano if they had a keyboard or something at home. They ended up getting creative because they were really tuning in by choice, in my program. You know what I mean? Like they didn't have to be there, So they wanted to play along. I remember the piano player saying, "What should I do when you're tuning by chords? Because I don't have to tune, And I said, "Well, play along with us. There's a part, and I know it's boring, but then you're playing with the ensemble." He's like, "Okay, yeah, true." So, give them an option. I'm sure you can come up with some kind of ideas, or ask them to come up with, what would you want to do during this? Honestly, they can play paradiddles the whole time. It doesn't matter to you because you can't hear them, right? So, if there's something that they think it would be a good idea to do during that, then I let them. A lot of times, and it happened today while I was working, when I said, I'm working with the saxophones, you're going to play at B, and I looked, and I've got trombone players playing their stuff at the time. They can. We're always like, shh, stop playing, mallets, stop hitting stuff while we're, trying to listen to the saxophone. They can actually do that now, and it's not going to create any issues, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, hope that helps. Sorry, Elise. Didn't
No,
mean
you're
to-
good. That seemed like a really good question for you because, I mean, I obviously owned an instrument and I didn't have to send anyone to Marian to borrow a violin or anything.
Yeah, no problem. I'm going to go to another room and make sure they're okay, so let me know if you need anything.
You know, record it and share it to YouTube, and then that way that they had it.
Very cool. Thanks.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions?
Did you have like slowed down versions of some of the pieces? Like if they were struggling with a piece, like did you just? I assume you just put the metronome down slower and played along or something.
Yeah, so I did a metronome, or YouTube actually has an option where you can slow down the videos. So we always did it. Was it 0.75, Shawn? Is that what we did?
Yeah, once it goes to 0.5 or 0.25, it starts kind of sounding weird. But the 0.75 was usually a good point. So basically 75% of the original speed is what it is. Do you want to show them where that is on YouTube?
Yes. Let's see, I think I still have a YouTube. Yeah. So I gotta remember how to share.
You're sharing.
Am I sharing the sound? I'm on a Mac. I'm not on a regular laptop anymore.
Well,
but I'll
press
show you.
play and let's see if you're on the sound. No.
No?
Go back to, yes, click stop share.
Okay.
And now click screen share. And then in the bottom of that window, click those two little boxes. This is one of the things I typically do when I travel around from breakout room to breakout room is help with tech issues.
It's like Infernal Jamation. If it's recording that's on YouTube, if you click this gear right here, it's settings, and they have playback speed. It will give you options of going faster or going slower, and you generally is 0.75, and then once you play it,
take it back to the original speed so they can hear where it normally is.
so that was slower, and the normal speed would be. You can really hear it in like a couple faster pieces. I don't know if I have one pulled up or not, but I don't think I do. But you can do that, and we also had the option too of the recordings, like the backtracks that we did. You could slow it down on that too, but sometimes the quality on that isn't the best. Sometimes slower down, it kind of sounded fuzzy. It did work, but most of the times, if it was something that was like a backing track, I would use a metronome. Or if it was on YouTube, it was the best just doing that as well. Anything else?
I guess my other question is, how often are you rehearsing online? How often are you having because you put a lot of videos together, play-alongs and tuning and scales and other things. How often are you doing?
So for us, when we rehearsed for SYO, it was 4 days and it was an hour and a half. And so the time that we did that, everything online, and the time out of that of us recording it, most of the times when I recorded stuff, it was on the weekends because I worked during the week. It would take me about an hour, if that.
Headaches if you just get that interface. You can find them. I'm sure you all have heard this before, but I apologize if I'm repeating this. Focusrite is a company that makes these interfaces. It's called the Scarlett Solo. It's a little 2-input interface. You can plug in a keyboard to demo piano stuff, and you can plug in a microphone. And it's got a volume control right on the unit itself, so you can turn it up for when you're speaking or for when you're speaking into it. And if you play trumpet or a loud instrument, you can turn it down when you're playing into it. So controls are really easy to use. You can control the volume. And it's a sound card for your computer. So let's say you need to make some demos for your students. It's a great way to get clean quality audio into your computer for that kind of thing. And as far as microphones go, you can achieve this same thing without as much flexibility, just getting a USB microphone. But I would really recommend getting this interface and also getting a microphone that plugs in just like you would plug into a PA system. Right? A microphone with an XLR cable that'll go right into the front of the interface.
And a 57 or a 58 is probably sufficient, right?
Absolutely. If you want to do some really high-level recording, you could get a condenser mic, but that's a whole rabbit hole that I know a lot of people don't want to go down.
Is there a microphone you'd recommend to get?
Like Jason said, Shure, the company Shure, S-H-U-R-E, makes an SM58, which is a great vocal microphone. It's the one with the silver dome on it. And the SM57, which is an instrument microphone, which has it's basically a 58 with a different capsule on it.
And if you search the internet, somebody right now has a package on sale where you can probably buy like a couple of mics and a couple of cables and a couple of stands pretty cheap. It's always a sale for that stuff going on.
Absolutely. Okay.
All right, everybody, how did your sectionals go? Yeah? Good, good, good. Did you learn anything? Excellent. So normally when I bring everybody back now, this might be the time that we would run through the full ensemble versions of those pieces that we worked on as a group then. And again, while they can't hear their peers playing, they feel like they can because they're hearing all of the instruments playing on those full ensemble recordings. And the cool thing is they're not just playing in their high school band anymore, their middle school band, they're playing with professionals. So they will tend to start rising to that level over time when they're hearing that in their ears. It's one thing to go from hearing, you know, sixth graders playing in your ears every day to hearing professionals playing in your ears every day. Just keep encouraging them to start to try to match style and intonation as they go through. I try to take this as a time to incorporate informal learning. So jazz used to be learned by just listening to other people play, and that's kind of a big part of what we're doing here. And you can see obviously with the instructional things that we did with the instructional videos, there's still time to teach rhythms and that kind of thing. But I just encourage you to change up your techniques a lot. Okay, so I've seen a couple questions here. They're coming pretty fast, but somebody asked about the Breakout Rooms feature, and let me just quickly go over that. It's super easy. If you look down on the bottom of your screen, does everybody see something that says Breakout Rooms? It may not show on yours if you're not the host.
Can you do a share screen? Because I'm on an iPad.
Yeah, let me try that. Let me see. I don't know if that'll work for this. Let's try it.
I'm not sure you can show that. I think I've tried that before.
Yeah, I don't think it works.
We don't see the bottom of your Zoom screen. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically if you're the host, at the bottom of your screen there's a little 4 squares that say Breakout Rooms. You click Breakout Rooms and then it lists everybody that's there, okay? Usually before the rehearsal starts, as people are coming in and warming up unmuted, I'm assigning Breakout Rooms as they log in, okay? Before the rehearsal starts, you can create your breakout rooms when you're setting up your meetings, okay? So maybe I know that today I want to have the saxophones, all the saxophones together in one room, and then I want to have all the brass in one room. However you want to do it, you can set it up that way, just name the rooms. But then you put the people in it once they start logging in, okay? Now there is a way, if you have, what is the CSV document, right? It's a spreadsheet that's got names and email addresses. You can use one of those documents and upload it to assign the rooms ahead of time, but I tried to do that and I just didn't have any luck. But there is supposedly a way to do that. But if you have everybody warm up for the first couple of minutes, you can easily assign instruments to their rooms before the thing starts. It's pretty quick and easy to do. Sometimes I've done like half of them at the beginning, and then as we start warming up, when the other half of the students arrive, then when I click for people to go to their breakout rooms, it'll just leave the few people in the main room that haven't been assigned yet, and then I can just quickly assign them. It doesn't take much time at all. So really easy. And then once everybody's assigned to a room, I have the option, as you guys saw, of wandering about from room to room to check in on everybody and see how everything's going. Make sure everybody's on task and see if I can answer any questions, help with screen sharing and other tech issues, that kind of thing. I also rehearsed the klezmer band, the adult amateur ensemble, using the same technique. We did this at the beginning of this summer. And they loved it. They just wanted to play. So, yeah, they loved it. So I put together some little play-along tracks for us, and yeah. It worked out really well. Somebody said, you're not allowed to use Zoom at your school. What else do you do? I saw a question, something about that. So I know a lot of schools are making a lot of really weird rules, and that makes it so difficult. Zoom seemed to be the best option for what I could find. I've also heard really good things about Discord. I don't know if anybody else is familiar. Chris, are you familiar with Discord?
I am not. I'm not.
Okay, I just realized that my daughter, I have a 16-year-old daughter, she was using Discord for something. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, it's just something her and her friends just use and collaborate with. Like, they're not doing anything school-related. I know that much. But it's... apparently, I've heard rumors that a couple people can play in real time together. However, yeah, gamers. Yep, she's a gamer. However, I've also heard from people that know that it's not exactly perfectly together, but I don't know many details about it. It would certainly be worth looking into.
There is a platform called Jamkazam. Which is the closest, if you have a hardwired Ethernet connection, the closest I found you can get to playing in sync with somebody. I'd have to try Discord, but I did play with a saxophonist a couple weeks ago on Jamkazam, and it was pretty darn close. It's definitely still in its beta stages and definitely not something that would be suitable for education, but I mean, if you're students or you want to encourage them to make music with their peers, this would be a good project for them to look into.
Yeah, there's also Acapella. Are you familiar with Acapella? You have to have an Apple product to use Acapella. Yep, and I've had students collaborate. I've had them do duets and trios with Acapella. The cool thing about recording, whether they're recording with Acapella or recording these performance videos for your final concert, just like for a playing test, if you make them record their playing test, they finally start practicing. You know what I mean? When they're trying to record, like they may not call it that. They're just doing like 10 takes of something. But all of a sudden, they're finally doing it over and over to try to get it right. So, oh, can you use Acapella on an Android? I couldn't even access it on my Android.
From what I understand, the biggest drawback with Acapella is you only have 9 squares, and you have to pay for it to get more, I think.
Exactly, yeah. And every collaborator would have to pay.
Yeah.
So, like for Zoom, I have a paid subscription, and a lot of schools right now are giving Zoom for free, you know, to all the teachers. But I pay $15 a month for Zoom, and I can have a meeting with up to 100 participants for as long as I want to have it for. And everybody that participates, none of the students have to pay. They can participate for free. So that's one of the things I like about Zoom. YouTube is free. I mean, I set this up so that it's not something where I know there's programs out there now where like, oh, it's $2,000 to purchase it for you and your class. Nobody can do that. People are losing their jobs right now. I mean, people have lost. I know me as a musician. I've lost a lot of musician income right now. So we don't want to charge people to do. I mean, we want to make it as cheap as possible. So I like using Zoom for that reason. Somebody else had asked about Google, if there's a way to adjust music mode in Google Meet. Does anybody know about that? Chris, do you know about that? I always ask Chris because he usually knows every tech question.
As if.
Now, some of these other platforms, you may not even need to adjust the audio settings. Maybe they're already set. I don't know. But Zoom has this, the way that Zoom is, it's for video conferencing, right? That's what it's made for. So it has these settings where it'll cancel out any background noise. And it thinks that your instrument is background noise. It doesn't know that you, so that's why it cuts out sometimes when you hear people playing. So that's why we have to set it for original sound, or what we call music mode. So it just picks up exactly the sound in your room without trying to adjust for it or anything like that. But some of the other meetup, you know, platforms may not automatically do that, so you may not even have to make an adjustment. I don't know. Do you have any other questions?
I have a question just about your workspace.
Sure.
For what you have set up while you're teaching, and then also it looked like you were using multiple devices to create the recordings. So if you could just talk through how to set up your space, that would be helpful.
Yeah, sure. So my personal space here is very simple. I mean, I'm using a desktop computer, and I try to have as much printed out as I can so I don't have to go from screen to screen. But so I've got like my scores, for instance, printed out here. But I pull up everything, all of the videos that I'm going to need, I pull up on my desktop before everything starts, so I can quickly switch between those. I am just using a regular earbuds for this. They have like a little built-in, you know, little tiny microphone here. But if I unplug this, I was using the built-in microphone on the computer. It's easier this way because then it doesn't have any kind of echo from picking up the sound that my computer is creating. So anytime you can use earbuds or AirPods, that is best. I don't have any fancy rigs. Like I know Chris and some of our friends have fancy rigs with the Scarlett and all the microphones and stuff. I literally use this, and it's been working fine for my instruments. It's not perfect, but it's fine. If I sounded bad to you, it's because I didn't have a nice mic.
So when we were hearing your instrument, it was coming through the earbud microphone?
Literally through the earbud microphone. When I was playing live for you in the live rehearsal. The videos that you heard, I was just using my iPhone, which is a like a version 7 or 8, something like that. It's nothing high tech. It's just, it was the built-in. So you notice the sound cut in and out just a little bit. Sometimes it would get loud and quiet. That's something that the iPhone has set up. I actually got better sound equalization on my Android cell phone when I was recording with that, which is kind of weird. But so as far as my rig goes, that's all I have. When we were recording the videos, we had students use their cell phones to record the videos, okay? And there's a setting that Ben Taylor, the composer that wrote Snitchin' in the Kitchen, he asked them to set some settings on their phone before they start. So, but I don't think everybody even did that. Chris, you downloaded a program to help us equalize all of those cell phone settings, didn't you?
Yeah, and one thing before we move on from that last part, there's, when you're talking about your setup, and there's an iPhone app called Epoc Cam, I think, Epoc Cam, EPOC Cam, and it's an app that allows you to use your iPhone as a remote camera for Zoom or for Skype or whatever. You can use it as webcam, and if you're doing an instrument where they need to, you know, see the full range of the instrument, like a cello or a violin, and you want a different camera angle, or if you play piano and you want to set up a tripod with your phone on it here, you have the option to have 2 cameras instead of finagling your laptop behind you on a music stand or something like that. So it's a free app, and you just use your iPhone as an additional camera. But, now about this video conversion. So this is a deep rabbit hole that I went down with Braxton, our video editor. So you would think that when you record video and everybody, all these students are recording their video, you'd think if they're recording it to the same guide track that they have in their ear, everybody's got the same guide track, it's going to be fine, right? It's going to be in sync. Everything's going to be cool. And I just put them together in iMovie and it'll be great. No, that is absolutely not the case. So what iPhones do, and maybe some Androids, they have this thing called variable frame rate. And when the lighting changes in the room, that also adjusts the speed of the rate of playback of the video slightly. So it won't be noticeable for like a minute, minute and a half, but then when you hit the 2-minute mark, and then 3, 4, 5, it keeps drifting further and further apart. So this is a huge pain and very frustrating, and I had no idea why it happened for a while, but it's because they're at a variable frame rate. So there's an application called Handbrake, and it allows you to take the videos and convert them to constant frame rate, okay, and then it's fine, problem solved. And the other thing you can do with this is, say if you have a student that records a video in 4K, 60 frames per second, which for those of you who don't know, that's a huge video file. Like for 5 minutes, that would be like 20 gigabytes or something crazy like that. You can also, in Handbrake, downsize it, because a lot of us don't have unlimited Google Drive space, and we need to upload all those videos. So you can downsize it in Handbrake and then delete the larger file and take it to 720p, 1080p. So it's a great program. It's open source. It's free for download. Handbrake.
Yeah, great. Thanks for answering some of those tech questions, Chris. And again, Chris and Braxton, like they actually, like you can hire them to make your videos for you if you want to, because it is a lot of, well, it's a lot of time, but they used, you know, Pro Tools and Adobe Premiere to make those, plus some of these other little programs that you're talking about. But they know how to do it. So reach out. If you don't reach out to them, reach out to somebody. They're pretty affordable compared, you know, for our budget, because I've seen some people charging thousands and thousands of dollars to do this, which is ridiculous. But anyway, they're affordable, I think. So ask them or reach out to somebody like them if you want to do it. I would not recommend that you do it yourself.
I'll drop my email in the chat, and that's a quick way to get a hold of Braxton or I.
One thing that I did, I found
Jason.
a parent who was super excited about putting the video together for me. So I said, great, here's all the files in a Google Drop box, and you go. And he said it took him like, I don't know, hours. It was hours and hours and hours. But it wasn't my hours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that's a great idea, especially if you have somebody who's tech savvy like that. Yeah. Adobe has educator pricing for educators. So the programs, you know, Pro Tools and Adobe can be pretty expensive, but look, both of those programs have educator pricing. So if you're going to get those, check that out.
I have a question for Chris, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I have been using Final Cut to generate my guide tracks and hopefully put the projects together. And I was just wondering, is it a fairly straightforward process mixing them all together if they've been put through the Handbrake process to put them in constant frame rate?
Well, I didn't really deal with the video editing side of thing in Final Cut. What I did, because I wanted to have ultimate control over the audio, was I stripped the audio from the videos that I sent to our video person. So I stripped all the audio from that. Now, I think you're talking about aligning the videos, getting them aligned together?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we did there was, after we converted it, the video that the students upload, obviously they're recording to something in their ear. They're recording to the guide track in their ear. This is important because you don't want the guide track in the audio that you're going to mix together.
Yeah, definitely.
So what was probably the most time consuming for me is after I converted them to Handbrake, they were in this constant frame rate, I took them into iMovie with the guide track that they recorded to. And then I looked at the score and I said, okay, they play beat 2, letter H. And then I had marked in iMovie A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the rehearsal letters. I would go to H, see where they play, see the waveform where they played, and then align it with their entrance. That was the most time-consuming part of it. But then I was able to send Braxton, our video person, everybody's video, but it had the guide track in it. So he was able to just look at the waveform and see, oh, there's the click track that starts the recording. And he would just align those clicks. So that probably, he could have done that process, but me doing that saved both of us quite a bit of work. So that's kind of how I went about that.
Couldn't you just add them to the guide track if you have the guide track already in Final Cut?
You could. For Braxton and I, because we were working together, it just made more sense for me to do it because he was doing the... Yeah. So you could do it all in Final Cut. That would work as well. I'm not so familiar with Final Cut, and this is something that Braxton's probably going to help me with when I start to do this more on my own. But
okay.
There was a question in here about having multiple ensembles, and I know that most of you will. Whatever you can do to create the least amount of work for yourself, I think, is the best option. Because what I found is that there is a lot of planning that goes into what you do online. I mean, you noticed even when we were running through these pieces, I had to have the tracks set at a certain time, right, a certain point. So that means ahead of time I had to figure out where is letter B in this Thad Jones recording, right? And I had to write the time marker in. And so I had to set everything ready to go so that it was already there. And then I had to make a video ahead of time, and I had to upload that, which took time. So besides just the regular lesson planning, there is a lot of tech prep, I think, that goes into prepping. So maybe if you can have, one of your ensembles do the same piece so that you only have to make the one instructional video, and you can use the video twice, that's a good plan. But just start thinking in terms of trying to make it easier for you. And if you have a student teacher, or if you have teachers that you're bringing in, that you're hiring, delegate to them a lot of the prep work so that you don't have to do so much. There's just so much to do already, right?
I have a quick question. With that in mind, because the amount of prep work you did was very impressive. Very, impressive. So how many pieces of music should we realistically expect to get through in one semester?
It obviously depends on your ensemble. I can tell you what we did this summer. We have a full symphony orchestra and we had a jazz band this summer. So we downsized our ensemble offerings because we weren't sure how long, how much this was going to take from us. With the jazz band, we rehearsed and performed 4 pieces in a 6-week period.
Wow.
And with the full orchestra, we rehearsed and performed 2 pieces in a 6-week period. So probably, it depends on your group, but maybe you plan on 3 pieces every 2 months ish.
Mm-hmm.
2 to 4 pieces. Like anything else, the more details, the more time that you spend, picking away at the details. One thing that helped me, that I think helped us get really good, was that we would basically spend our rehearsals were about an hour and a half each. About 45 minutes of each rehearsal was what we did at the beginning together. And then the other, about half hour, 35 minutes, would be sectionals. You could have student leaders do those, student teachers. I had interns from universities. You could bring in your local teachers or professional musicians to do these. Then they get to really work on them and get them really tight and fix things and give them a lot of individual feedback. And then we get together at the end for just 5 or 10 minutes and run through the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Every rehearsal we broke into sectionals. And that helped, I think, tremendously. I don't know where I would have been without the interns and the staff doing sectionals this summer. So especially if you have a marching band budget that now you can't use, this would be a great time to bring in people. Another thing we did too that I didn't talk about, but with the jazz band was, not the jazz, this was with everybody. Every week I brought in a masterclass clinician to do a masterclass for the students. So we would have rehearsals Monday through Thursday. On Fridays we did a masterclass. I brought in famous people to do these master classes. People I could not normally bring in because I'd normally have to pay their airplane ticket and their hotel and everything else. They were willing to do it for, you know, a couple $100 to come in and talk to my students or play for them for an hour and tell their stories and whatever else.
That's great.
Yeah, so like Michael Lowenstern, do you know who Michael Lowenstern is? Oh man, he's super cool. Look him up if you don't know who he is. But he makes all these online videos, and he'll have like himself playing 5 parts to it. He just did the really cool one. I would show you right now, but I mean, if you want to stick around, I'll play it at the end. But he like did an arrangement of September for like bass clarinet choir, and he's so good with the audio and visual that like he had himself standing around playing the instrument in different settings. So anyway, I brought a lot of these different types of musicians in to talk to the students, trying again to take advantage of the situation to offer things that we could not normally offer.
Right. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, what other questions do you have?
Can I ask one more?
Sure.
I don't want to jump on anybody's toes. I was thinking about, I only get 40-minute rehearsals 4 days a week. So I was thinking about assigning like each day of the week to a different thing, whether it's sectionals or full band or master class. I don't know yet. That's why I'm here. But did you do any music theory teaching, like using musictheory.com or Theoria or Auralia or any of the... Did you ever do that online and like play music theory games with the kids or anything?
You know, I didn't this summer. But I think anything you can do to change up what you're doing within a rehearsal is a good thing, because students have short attention spans.
Yeah.
Just in general. So if I was sitting here trying to lecture over Zoom, I would have lost everybody after the first minute.
Right.
You know, you just got to keep changing what you're doing. So you could totally do it, though, you know, have a different thing each day. I think that would be great. I think if you have 40 minutes and you do 2 different things within that 40 minutes, you may keep people's attention spans better. I know we did like Cahoots last semester with my college students. They're college students, but they loved it. College students also love sticker charts, go figure. But yeah, just anything. It's a fun game. You can quiz them at the end, you know. Well,
right.
What did that, you know, what did the rooftop symbol mean? And, you know, whatever. You can make Cahoots. Those are fun. But yeah, I think that's great. Work all of that stuff in. I think that what the students really didn't like was just having these random assignments that just felt like busy work to them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not doing it.
But I think if everything can revolve around our repertoire, you know, like we're drawing that material from stuff that we're actually playing together, that we're actually rehearsing together, I think it works well.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. I can't even tell you. I feel so much better after this class.
Thank you. I'll be sending out a little survey to you guys, and please feel free. You all have my email address, right? Yeah. Shawn at ShawnGoodmanJazz.com. Just send me an email if you have any other questions or ideas, feedback. If this works for you, if you thought it was terrible, just send me an email and let me know. Or if you think it's terrible, send Chris an email. Let him know instead. All right. Well, thank you all so much for your time. I hope you learned something. I hope it was beneficial to you. Good luck this year. Please be safe. Thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Elise and Mackenzie, thank you for helping out today. Really
You're welcome.
appreciated you being here.
I'll send you some of the pictures I took, Shawn.
Okay, thank you.